Good afternoon, and welcome to the Calix webinar, Beat or Bust. What's next? How to activate your BEAD award to bring value to your whole community. I'm Susan Friedman from Calix. Before we get started, I'd like to share a few quick tips on using the Zoom console and engaging with us during the webinar. At the bottom of the screen, there is a toolbar. Click on the Q&A button to ask questions at any time. Please use the chat button if you have any technical issues during the webinar, or you'd like to share your thoughts and reactions to the conversation. Click on the Resources button to find speaker bios and additional content for you to download. During the webinar, we will have a few poll questions for you to answer. Thank you in advance for your participation in the polls. Today's session is being recorded, and a link with the recording will be sent to all who registered. Please share this link with your colleagues who may be interested in the discussion. And with that, I'll hand it over to Kevin Sievert. Kevin, let's get started.
Thanks, Susan, and thank you for everyone who's attending the webinar. This is our third installment of the Beat or Bust webinar series, and I wanted to, on this one, kind of broaden the scope, right? BEAD is kind of in the final stages of the NTIA approval, and some of the things that are pertinent to BEAD are also pertinent to ISPs that didn't win BEAD. And so I wanted to just kind of broaden the scope of the conversation. And so today we actually have three folks joining me. My name's Kevin Sievert. I'm the Senior Broadband Strategy Manager. I'll provide a brief update on the funding. Ann Gunther, she's the Director of Product Marketing. Part of BEAD is performance testing, and of course that performance testing has not been finalized by the NTIA, and so the contract language right now kind of says, well, it's required, performance testing is required. You're going to have to do that for reporting and compliance, but they don't tell you exactly what it is. And so I asked Ann on to kind of talk about what our performance testing capabilities are for our platform, so that when BEAD comes out, you're assured that we will meet that. And then for ISPs that did win BEAD, obviously performance testing can be a very beneficial aspect of the network operation that she'll address as well. Our third speaker will be Hillary Cherry. She's the Director of Field Marketing. And one of the things that, I brought her on for is, okay, you've got all this money. Now you're going to build this network, how to maximize the benefits of that network. And so she's going to be talking about some of the products and services that Calix provides that will help you maximize that. The other aspect of that is, if you didn't win BEAD, then you might have a BEAD winner that might be encroaching next to your serving area, or might even be overbuilding part of your serving area, and you need to know, hey, what can I do to try and be competitive with another provider. So she'll be talking about some of those products and services that Calix offers that will help. And then our final speaker today is Shapur Azadiyar, and he is actually our private funding expert. So he's specifically going to talk very quickly about, okay, if you didn't win BEAD, what are some of the options that you have to kind of grow and expand your current business? So with that, we'll go on. We'll go to our first poll question. So just to get a sense of where everybody is, where are you in the post-BEAD award process? If you could just answer the poll there, give it a minute. So we're just trying to see if you're waiting for everything to be done, if you've already started, just kind of see what's coming up. All right. We'll go ahead and close out the poll. So it looks like everybody's kind of taking the conservative approach of just waiting until everything's finished. I certainly can appreciate everybody's cautiousness with regards to the BEAD program. Certainly in light of all of the changes that's happened since the new administration has come in. So certainly appreciate that part. Like I said, I'll be talking about the BEAD updates, and we'll talk about performance testing, and how that might play into some of the funding requirements and beyond. Um, Again, Hillary will talk about uh, what kind of services and features we can you can use from the Calix platform to really make an impact. Shapur will follow up with the funding options. So, quick BEAD award update. So, right now we have 37, and when I say states, that means states and territories. So, we have 37 of the 56 states and territories reporting. Right now, that kind of it equates to about $10 billion in BEAD funding and $6 billion in match. There has been a strong tier three presence in the awards to date. And one thing that I found interesting was right now there's about a 40% customer match. If you remember, there was a 25% required match, and I believe um, the new administration's round that a lot of people are calling it the Bob round, the benefit of the bargain round. I think that really kind of pushed up customer contributions in the match. So I think that was one of the benefits that the new administration is that we can see from the new administration's process. We've got 19 states to go. About a dozen or so of those states have published an extension date that they've received from the NTIA. The rest, I think, are still a little bit of in the shadows. We haven't heard anything about an extension date, but obviously they've missed the September 4th deadline. So we're just expecting that it's in the process, and they're working with NTIA closely to firm up the delivery. If you just kind of look at the overall BEAD program by the numbers, and if we look at the funding by technology, you can see that BEAD or that fiber had a really strong presence in the wards, and we were expecting obviously with the previous administration and the fiber preference, we were expecting an even higher fiber presence under the previous rules, but I think we're encouraged by the high fiber presence today. I think that really speaks to what a lot of the states were seeing as the longevity and the stability and reliability of fiber technology. Uh, I will say, one thing that is a little bit of a surprise is if you look at the number of locations by technology, you can see there. I think the new Bob round had a pretty moderate impact on the expectations for that. I think you can see that the yellow area represents HFC. I think a lot of portion of the pie would have been fiber, but I think some of the providers that offered both technologies kind of went back with HFC play. We also saw I think, a bigger presence of satellite. I think there was a high focus on the lowest cost, and so I think where that's why we had the other technologies getting a larger piece of the pie in the new round. So the next slide, I know this is a bit of an eye chart, and there's a lot of information on here, and I'm not going to go through all of it, but I just tried to pull out some of the things that I thought was that were interesting, right? So you can see, West Virginia and North Carolina had very high fiber percentages. And so that's how you can read it. You can see that West Virginia had $618 million uh, that went to fiber, and that was 99% of the funding. And they had 68,000 locations, which was 99% of the locations. So West Virginia was nearly all fiber. North Carolina also was a high fiber number. Uh, you know, another example, if you kind of look at the states that had big LEO wins, Montana, they had $145 million. That was 36% of the total funding went to satellite providers, which covered about 56,000 or 47,000 locations, which was about 65% of the total locations in Montana. I'll leave the rest for you guys to read on the replay. Some other things that were interesting is we had some states that had some very high match percentages. Delaware at the top with 85%, Georgia, New Jersey and Maine all having very high match percentages. Low match percentage, we actually had a couple of states that were below the mandatory 25%. So I thought that was interesting. And just the top four states right now, these are the ones that had over $1 billion in total allocations. So the BEAD right now is in the final steps. There are several of the states whose final proposal are in the NTIA review process or will be very soon. We do have, like I said, a dozen or so states that we know have extensions that will extend all the way out. I think the last one is towards the end of October with Texas. So we will get the rest of the states here in the next month or two, and I don't think that's going to be a big impact to the overall schedule, just because the NTIA has 37 states that they're dealing with right now. So it will take them some time to get through that. So again, don't think that there's any jeopardy for the NTIA to miss its overall goal of having all these approved by early December. So with that, I think I'm gonna pass this off over to Anne and let her talk about some of the test performance capabilities of the Calix platform and how that can be beneficial to not only BEAD winners, but to anyone who's running a communications network. Anne?
Great, great. Thanks, Kevin. It's certainly interesting to see the BEAD highlights so far. And as opportunities progress, I'm sure that there are questions about how you're going to support the new BEAD network and a bigger picture of how you're going to manage and support your service that's being delivered. And so to help, next slide, please. Calix Cloud provides end-to-end experience management to not only deliver that seamless service, but also reduce TCO. And one capability in particular is speed and performance testing, which serves a couple of critical use cases. On one hand, it enables the performance testing to comply with funding requirements, and on the other, and this is with or without funding, it measures broadband service quality, which is fundamental to understanding the subscriber experience. Next slide, please. So we've focused on this key capability for funding, compliance, and assuring the broadband experience with a speed testing framework that any stakeholder can use. As you can see here on the left, it's your CSRs, your broadband ops, and your field techs, as well as subscribers, since they also need to measure their quality of their service tier, right? And this framework then shows how these stakeholders map to the speed testing applications. Okay, and then on the right, you'll see the range of use cases from funding performance testing, of course, to on-demand speed testing, and this can be to the residential gateway or to Calix ONT systems, and also indoor and outdoor field testing for service validation. So, think your new installations, okay? And this framework of speed testing, which comprises the Calix Speed and Performance Insights, is supported by a couple of server types. If you would kindly go to the next slide. just want to quickly paint this picture for you. So what we have here, and again, this is the support system for that framework that you just saw, okay? And on the left here, this is our cloud-based TR-143 global testing network, which is a hosted model for on-demand speed and FCC performance testing. So with a hosted model, there's no need for you to acquire your own servers. Okay. And then on the right is the on BSP premises TR-143 multi-gig server option. And that's if you need the best performance testing for up to 10 gig high speed types of services, as well as, if you need to test to the Calix ONT systems. And if by chance there's a need for both, that's fine too. It's flexible. All right. And if we hop to the next slide here, I wanted to walk you quickly through the testing process, just high level how it works, right? We're going to be using FCC performance testing as an example, just to help paint the picture of the rigor behind this type of testing, okay? And so as you'll notice here, there's a test controller for setting up and initiating the tests in this instance. It's the same Calix Cloud that I referenced earlier, okay? And then we have our test clients, which is embedded into the GigaSpire systems, and that helps to initiate the testing as well as notify the test completion. And then the report builder that collects the test data that is then to be formatted for the reporting submission. And that is the Calix Cloud and the systems, these are all part of the Calix broadband platform. And it's this integration that simplifies the support operations for testing. Okay. And again, I wanted to give you a further, expand upon this with the FCC, a little bit more detail on the funding compliance. Okay. And so for that compliance, this requires that the BSP runs an upload and download speed test on 10% or up to about 50 subscribers per the funded speed tier per hour, 6 hours per day for 7-day testing period. Okay, so that gives you a good sense of what's on deck there. And in addition, on that same test group, the BSP also has to conduct a latency test each minute for that duration of the testing period. So for one speed tier, that can be over 130,000 discrete tests per quarterly reporting period. That's the rigor to which I was referring earlier. Okay. Now, for BEAD, as the specific testing and reporting requirements are confirmed for BEAD by NTIA, Calix is positioned to partner with you to support these critical requirements. So rest assured, you have help along the way, right? And this is not only for your funding compliance, but also for measuring, again, that broadband service quality to assure your subscriber experience. And this can be for those new installs and those new services as you grow. And I believe now we're going to hop to the next slide here. And this is a synopsis, okay? And then also, if we would kindly roll out the poll, we'd like to understand a little bit more about your environment here. So if you would let us know if you have an existing performance testing and reporting solution in place, right? That just gives us a sense of how you're currently conducting that piece of your business. Or if you have the tool, but yet the reporting may be challenging, that's good to know as well. Or if you don't do the performance testing and reporting, that is certainly insightful as well. Or if you're looking to make that change. Again, we're just trying to understand the different environments of this particular audience. So we look forward to hearing from you here. Okay. All right, so this is interesting. I'm seeing that 25% have an existing performance testing and reporting solution in place. None have the performance testing and are challenged with reporting. That's great. 75% do not currently run performance testing and reporting. And looks like no one is looking to make a change again. So thank you. This is, again, just brings insight to better understanding your environment, where you're at. Okay, now with that, I am delighted to hand it over to Hillary. And now the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, and thank you everyone for having me here today. So whether you've secured BEAD funding or are in the final stages of your application, you've reached a pivotal milestone. Anne touched on some of the requirements that you were going to have to meet, but now the real question is, what's next? Today, we'll explore how to turn this funding into lasting value for your community and for your business. So go ahead and go to the next slide, please. There are three major shifts that are shaping our industry today. Subscriber expectations are rising. They want more than just fast internet, they want experiences. New competitors are emerging, even in small markets. And technology is changing at an exponential rate, especially as it pertains to things like AI. Next slide. So BEAD isn't just about infrastructure. It's about your transformation. In our 25 years of working with broadband service providers, we've seen a consistent truth. Broadband service providers are always building, launching, and evolving. So once your network is built, the real work is beginning. You must measure, improve, and constantly innovate. So ask yourself, how are you using or how will you use your network to enhance safety, education, and digital equity? And at this time, I'd like to pull up a poll question to get your insights. So which community service do you consider to be most significant for your network to support? Public safety and first responders, school and other educational institutions, healthcare facilities and telehealth, small and local businesses, economic development and community development, or digital equity? So I'll give you a few minutes to answer that. Okay, we could pull up the results then. So this is really interesting. So the majority of it's split 50-50. People are looking at healthcare facilities and telehealth is 50% selected that, and 50% selected digital equity. So it's very interesting on what the priorities are as you're looking to build out your network. And I think that that's good insight as we move to the next slide. To thrive as a broadband service provider, you must evolve in the broadband space. So subscribers have more choices than ever, and if we aren't meeting their needs, they may leave us for a competitor. And churn is really expensive. So as you look at this chart, first, years ago, it was essential just to have good broadband. That was enough. Then came managed Wi-Fi, and having that was wonderful as well. But that quickly became not enough. And then they have basic managed services like subscriber apps, which are really important in how your subscribers are able to utilize your network and be able to manage all of their devices and different applications that apply to their broadband service. But subscriber apps are really seen as kind of a Me Too thing. Almost every competitor out there has a subscriber app now. So what are we doing as far as advanced managed services? Looking at parental controls, network prioritization, cybersecurity. How can you really up-level your service and go farther with targeted offerings for families, remote workers, all different personas that live within your subscriber base? And this is really, as you go up and you add additional managed services, this is how you increase ARPU. It's how you reduce your churn increase subscriber loyalty, and gain the competitive advantage. So if I get asked for you guys to just pause for a second, think about these 3 questions. What do you know about your subscribers? What are their characteristics? What are they doing? And how are you evolving to meet their changing needs? Move to the next slide, please. So I want to talk a little bit about how you elevate your subscribers' experiences. We talked about why it's really important to evolve your business, but let's dive deeper into what truly is going to set you apart. So as you already have the funding, you've rolled out your network, you've met all your requirements. What is going to set you apart is the experience that you are providing to your subscribers. Today's subscribers expect more than just connectivity. They expect personalized, secure, and seamless experiences across every aspect of their digital lives. And why is this important? It's because happy subscribers stay longer. They're loyal. They also spend more money with you, and they tell others. They are great referrals. So a few examples of what subscribers are looking for: they're looking for parental controls, protecting their children online, cybersecurity that shields their homes or small businesses, and as well as the community network, your network around town, network prioritization. I personally work from home, obviously as part of Calix, that is part of our structure, and work from home is something that is extremely important to me. So being able to prioritize your network and prioritize my workspace would be really important to your subscribers that work from home. And then you have other personas like network prioritization, maybe for if you're a gamer and you want to reduce latency and not have anyone else streaming in your household at the same time. These are all important. Self-service tools that additionally put control in their hands. So how can they basically shut off the internet at a certain time and not have their children online after 10 p.m. or have them be able to do their homework during certain hours? What are you allowing them to do and how to control their network? Home security integration, bridging physical and digital safety. So really looking at, not only security on your network, but how are they using security across their network, at their home, at their business, and how can you bring in these Internet of Things devices like security cameras and things like that to enhance the safety. And then seamless roaming. So as we serve outside of just residential subscribers, you need to be looking at how you serve across town with the community-wide Wi-Fi and what are you offering there to not only your subscribers, but guests that come into your service area. So we learn a lot from the success of different companies. One example is Uber. They've created amazing experiences for consumers, experiences that have enabled them to expand into business products. And their self-service capabilities are intuitive, empowering, and they're also scalable. One thing I think is very important about Uber is that they have both a personal Uber as well as you can do a business Uber account. They also have security and safety features. So for someone that travels a lot, you can have things that you can turn on to automatically record or have your experience be that you're automatically recording not only your location, but also the audio going on in the call to enhance security. And then the ability to pay before you ever get the Uber and automatically tip. These are great self-service capabilities that have helped Uber itself become an experience provider. So how can you emulate that and set subscriber expectations higher? Looking at simplicity, personalization, how they can control their network, and having positive impact with your subscribers across the board. Our broadband service providers must deliver frictionless and empowering experiences. So, and the Calix platform enables a single architecture supporting multiple markets. And what I mean by that is we support residential, we support small and medium businesses, multi-dwelling units, outdoor spaces such as RV parks, community, football fields, things like that. And over 1,000 broadband service providers have built their business on this platform. They're seeing rapid subscriber growth, higher ARPU, and improved retention, as well as lower operating costs. But the real benefit is future-proofing your business. So as subscriber needs evolve, the Calix platform evolves with them, keeping you ahead of the curve and ready to serve your community in new and meaningful ways. So this means serving your subscribers where they want, which is in the home, in local businesses, whether they live in a multi-dwelling unit, if they're someone who lives there or in a guest that is visiting there, and across the entire community. Broadband service providers who launch with Calix will see rapid subscriber adoption of these services, immediate ARPU gains, and increasing net promoter scores. So whether you win BEAD funding or not, we want to emphasize that we are here to help. We are here to help you serve your community. And with that, I will launch one more poll, and then I'm going to turn it over to Shapur to discuss how you can navigate funding options going beyond BEAD. So I'll give you a few seconds to answer this question. Okay, we can go ahead and close the poll and go ahead and move on to Shapur.
All right. Thank you very much, Hillary. So pleasure to see you guys all here today. My name is Shapur Zadiar. As Kevin mentioned, I am lead funding analyst and currently take the charge on our private funding team here at Calix. So being with the company for a little bit over 4.5 years and being on the funding team ever since. So today I'm here to talk about something a little bit different. So if you're here and you didn't receive BEAD funding, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that, right? I know how much time, energy, and hope went into those applications. And I also know how discouraging it can feel when the outcome isn't as what you expected, right? But here's the truth: not not receiving BEAD funding doesn't mean that's the end of your broadband expansion. In fact, it might just be the beginning of a more flexible, innovative path forward. And that's what I really want to talk about today: how private funding can unlock new possibilities for your business and also your community. So private funding is more than just a plan B, right? It's a powerful strategy in its own. Unlike public funding, which often comes with rigid timelines, complex compliance requirements, and limited scope, private funding offers something different: agility, right? So with private capital, you can move faster. You can tailor your build out to your community's unique needs. You can innovate without waiting for approvals or navigating red tape. And most importantly, you can still deliver the same transformative impact, connecting homes, schools, businesses, etc., with high-speed broadband that really changes lives at the end of the day. So let me paint a picture for you guys. So imagine a provider in a rural county who didn't qualify for BEAD, but still had a vision to serve underserved neighborhoods, right? Through private funding, they were able to secure capital quickly, deploy fiber within months, and partner with local stakeholders to create digital literacy programs. So the result: a thriving community with new economic opportunities, better healthcare access, and improved education outcomes, all without a single dollar of public grant money. That's the kind of impact we're seeing more and more these days. Private funding isn't just about financing, right? It's about freedom. Freedom to build on your own terms, freedom to innovate, and most importantly, freedom to lead. And at Calix, we believe every provider deserves that opportunity. So that's why we have built a dedicated private funding team here at Calix. So this group is made up of experts who've helped providers across the country get in touch with investors, secure capital, and navigate the funding landscape with confidence. So that's why we built, so over the past 3 years, our funding team has established relationships with a wide variety of investors that are actively investing in our industry. So whether you're looking to explore debt, equity, or creative financing models, our team is here to guide you throughout the process. And the best thing about private funding is the options are really endless, right? Like there's so many different creative ways to structure your capital, and there's so many different investors that are willing to invest into your business. So we understand the business, we understand the challenges, and most importantly, we understand the urgency of getting your community connected now and not years in the future. So pretty much here's my invitation to you guys. Book a consult with our team. Let's talk about your goals, your challenges, and your options. Even if you're not really too sure where to start, we'll help you find a path forward. Essentially, how it goes is after our initial discussion, I'll determine the best firm within our network who would be the best fit, and then follow through and make an introduction to you guys. From there, we take a step back. We don't get involved in the due diligence process between you guys. And we allow you guys to go through that whole phase privately amongst yourself and the investor. And then what's also important to note is there's no quid pro quo to any of this, right? Between Calix and these investors, where all we're doing is simply putting two parties together who may not have known about each other into the same room to have a conversation with each other that could possibly benefit them, right? So because at the end of the day, every provider, whether BEAD funded or not, really has the power to make a difference. And at the end of the day, your community is counting on you, your employees are counting on you, and we're here to really help you deliver and get that funding you guys need. So that's about all I had for my section. I believe we have one more poll question for you guys. But thank you for joining us, and I look forward to connecting with you guys soon.
Thanks, Shapur. Thanks, Hillary. Thank you, Ann. So appreciate everybody's comments. I appreciate everybody staying a little bit longer. When they said I had 30 minutes to run this webinar, I said, okay, but expect it to go 45. So I appreciate everybody staying on. So I wanted to just kind of talk about the next steps, and Shapur kind of talked about it. But like I said at the beginning of this call, we tried to look at this call for really two different people, right? For the BEAD winners and for everyone else. And essentially, for the BEAD winners, obviously what's important for you to stay informed, look at your sub-awardee contracts with the SBOs. You're going to start your build outs. If you need help with marketing campaigns, all of those things, as you've seen, Calix has expertise, and we really measure our success on our customer success. So we're able to help you, from understanding funding to engineering to, architecture, marketing campaigns, performance testing, how to maximize the benefit out of these networks that you're building, how to meet all of the reporting and compliance requirements. For everyone else, I think right now, what you guys need to do is you need to assess the impact of BEAD, right? What winners are coming close to you? What winners might be overbuilding? Because of the new rules from the new administration, and I showed you earlier on the chart, we saw a general kind of downgrade of technology. Locations that probably would have been fiber under the previous rules, some of those got moved to HFC. Some of the ones that were landline type services got moved to wireless. And again, I think we saw a pretty high uptick in LEO services. And so, I think all of those need to be assessed per your specific situation. And then you guys will need to, look at your growth strategy and opportunities and decide whether private funding's ready, right for you, whether we need to, if you want to reach out to us and we can put you in contact with some consultants and consultant engineerings to do some due diligence, or whether it's just scheduling a consult with someone in Calix that has that expertise to help you, whether it's funding, engineering, marketing development, some business analytics, things like that with some of our platforms. and services. Essentially, the one thing that I liked about Calix when I came about 2 years ago, was they really had set up an infrastructure within Calix to really help our customers in the areas where they had gaps, right? Really focus on, the tier threes, and it's hard for them to have, regulatory experts and private funding experts and all these other things. And I saw Calix building that capability within our company that we essentially allow the customers to use for free, because again, we measure our success in your success. And so I really think that Calix is well positioned to help take the mystery out of your business, your operations, your network management, and planning. So feel free to reach out to us to schedule a consult. I think our last poll question is essentially to ask for, whether you'd like to have a consult. We'll certainly get someone to reach out and touch base with you. And while you guys are filling out that last poll question, we can certainly open it up for any questions that anyone might have.
I don't see any questions in the queue.
All right. All right. Well, once again, thank you for staying a little bit over for the third installment of this webinar series. And whether you won BEAD or not, wish you all the best in your endeavors, and certainly reach out to Calix if there's anything that you think we might be able to help you with. Again, thank you to our speakers today for their expertise, and stay safe.